The silence hangs in the air, thick and suffocating, as Miriam floats in darkness. For a long, agonizing moment, there is nothing but the sensation of falling, the cold grip of the unknown tightening around her. Her mind is hazy, her thoughts fractured. She can't move, can't think, can't even breathe. The blackness consumes her entirely, a void with no end. But then, slowly, like a dream unraveling, the darkness begins to lift. Light creeps back into her vision, weak and flickering. She blinks, trying to focus, trying to make sense of where she is. It's a room, but not a room she recognizes. The walls are cracked, stained with age, and the air is damp and musty, as if it hasn't been touched by life for years. Shadows stretch across the floor, clinging to the corners like forgotten memories. Miriam's heart beats loudly in her chest, each thud reverberating through her body, reminding her that she's alive, still alive, despite everything. But where is she? She stands in the center of the room, unsure of how she arrived, unsure of what's real anymore. The mirror is gone. In its place, a large wooden door looms at the far end, old and worn, as if it's been waiting for her for a long time. The air smells of mildew, damp earth, and something else, something that sends a shiver down her spine. The whispers return. Not from the watcher this time, but from somewhere deeper, somewhere more familiar. It's a voice she recognizes, though it's distant, soft, as though coming through a fog. Miriam. She turns instinctively, looking around the room, her pulse quickening. The voice is calling her. She knows it's calling her for a reason. But what is it? Her body tenses. It's not just a voice. It's a warning. She takes a tentative step forward, her footfall echoing loudly in the stillness. Each movement is deliberate, measured, as if the air itself is watching her, waiting for her to make a mistake. The door looms closer. She reaches out with a trembling hand and grasps the cold metal handle. The moment her fingers close around it, she feels it. A pulse like a heartbeat, running through the door itself. A low hum that vibrates beneath her fingertips. For a split second, she hesitates. Then, she pulls the door open. The hallway beyond is darker than the room, a narrow passage shrouded in shadows. Miriam steps into the corridor, each footstep now echoing ominously. It's like walking through the belly of something alive, something that knows she's there. The hallway stretches on, its end vanishing into an inky blackness. The air feels heavier here, thicker, like a fog that clings to the skin. She hears it again, the whisper, but now it's louder, closer. Miriam, you shouldn't be here. Her heart lurches in her chest. It's Claire's voice, but this time there's something wrong with it. It's laced with fear, with urgency, and something darker. A warning Miriam doesn't fully understand. Suddenly, the walls of the corridor seem to move. The floor beneath her shifts, groaning as though the house itself is alive, breathing. The air grows colder, and she feels a rush of wind as if something is behind her, moving swiftly, following her. Miriam spins around. Nothing. But the sound of footsteps grows louder, faster, as if whatever is in the shadows is getting closer, closing in on her. She begins to run. Down the hallway she goes, her feet pounding against the old wooden floors. Her breath comes in ragged gasps, her mind racing, but there's nowhere to go. No escape. The shadows close in from all sides, wrapping around her like tendrils, pulling her back into the darkness. Her legs begin to slow. Her body becomes heavier with each step, as if the air itself is dragging her down, forcing her to stop. Miriam! The voice calls again, but this time, it's not Claire's. The voice is colder, deeper, a malevolent force that wraps itself around her mind. The Watcher. You've come too far, Miriam. She knows it's the Watcher now. She can feel it, creeping closer, its presence filling the space around her. Her eyes dart around, desperately searching for a way out, but all she sees are the endless shadows stretching before her, swallowing the light. The archive, the voice whispers. It's all connected, all of it. The reflection, the tunnels, the mirrors, and you. She reaches out for the wall, her fingers brushing against the cold, rough surface. It feels like it's alive, like it's moving beneath her touch. She presses her hand harder against it, trying to steady herself, but it's useless. You're part of it now. The watcher's voice, distorted and hollow, reverberates through her skull. The words twist her insides, filling her with dread. Part of what? Miriam cries out, her voice trembling. What are you talking about? But the watcher only laughs, a low, guttural sound that echoes in the dark. The walls begin to close in on her, slowly at first, like the world is tightening its grip around her. Her breathing becomes shallow, her vision narrowing, but she doesn't stop. She pushes forward, though her limbs feel heavy, like she's dragging through tar. Every step feels like it's costing her more, but she can't stop. And then, at the very end of the corridor, she sees it. A door, a light shining through a crack in the wood. A chance. A way out. Miriam's hand reaches for the doorknob. She turns it, pushing the door open, only to be met with nothing. A vast, empty room. No walls, no floor. Just a drop. A chasm stretching into infinite darkness. She feels herself falling. No, not falling. Being pulled. As she tumbles into the void, the shadows begin to swirl around her. And in the distance, she hears a voice. A voice she knows all too well. It's too late, Miriam. The words hang in the air, freezing her in place as she continues to fall, the darkness consuming her. The watcher's laughter echoes louder now, growing until it drowns out everything else. And then, silence. Where did Miriam fall? What is the true nature of the archive, and how does it tie into everything? Is there still a chance for her to escape, or has she become part of the endless cycle? The mystery deepens. The darkness lingers, suffocating and absolute, pressing in from all sides. Miriam's heart races in her chest as the void around her swallows her whole. But then, as if the world itself is taking pity on her, a crack of light pierces the blackness, distant but undeniable. It flickers like a dying flame, teasing her with the promise of escape. Her instincts, sharp and survival-driven, make her move though her body feels like lead. She reaches out into the emptiness, her fingers brushing against something cold, a surface, something solid. Her hands find it, and for the first time in what feels like hours, her mind clears. She pulls herself forward, though it feels as if something is still tugging at her, holding her back. Miriam, the voice calls again, soft, haunting. It's familiar, too familiar, but twisted. Claire's voice. At least, it sounds like Claire's. Only it's distorted, fragmented, as if the words are being torn apart by something far darker. The fear in the voice is palpable, and it wraps around Miriam's spine like ice. She can't stop now. Not when the light is so close. Not when she's so close to the answers. The world seems to shift as she moves toward the light. The air around her grows colder, more oppressive. Each breath she takes is heavier, as if the very act of breathing is a struggle. The crack of light widens, and she steps forward, her hand outstretched. And then, the floor beneath her vanishes. She falls again. This time, she doesn't land in the cold void. Instead, she crashes to the ground. Hard. Her body aches, but it's the least of her worries. She's somewhere else. She pushes herself up, her head spinning, the world around her blurring in and out of focus. When her vision clears, she sees something she didn't expect. A room. A sterile, clinical space. Her surroundings are dimly lit, with harsh fluorescent lights casting sharp shadows against the white walls. The air smells faintly of antiseptic, and the sterile, cold silence seems to stretch on forever. It's as if she's been transported to another place entirely. Miriam's legs feel weak, but she forces herself to stand. Her hands tremble as they search the room, running across the smooth, metallic surfaces. But it's the walls that catch her attention. On the far side of the room, there is a door. It's ajar, just barely, with a faint light spilling through the crack. She moves toward it, each step heavy, each movement like wading through mud. Her pulse races again. She's not alone. She knows it. Miriam, help me. The voice again. Claire's voice. But where is she? Miriam pushes through the door, heart pounding in her chest, her hand reaching for the handle. What she finds on the other side is not what she expected. The room beyond is dark, but she sees enough to make out the outline of a figure standing in the corner. At first, it looks like a person, someone she might recognize, but as her eyes adjust, she realizes with growing horror that the figure isn't human. Not entirely. It's a shape, a distorted mass of shadows and light, like a figure trapped in a mirror, something neither living nor dead. Miriam takes a step forward, her breath caught in her throat. The figure does not move, does not speak, but there's something about it that makes her skin crawl. And then the reflection. Miriam's eyes widen as she sees herself, or rather, her reflection, distorted, half-formed. It's like looking into a broken mirror, one where her image doesn't line up with the movements of her body. She raises her hand to touch her face, and the reflection follows. But it's wrong. The reflection is distorted, glitching in and out of focus. The edges of her image flicker and waver, like the broken frame of a long-forgotten video. Miriam watches, horrified, as the reflection suddenly smiles. But it's not her smile. It's the smile of something that isn't her, something malevolent. In that moment, Miriam feels it. The cold rush of realization. She is not alone here. The figure moves. Sudden, fast, impossibly fast. The shadowy shape lunges toward her, its hand shooting out, gripping her arm with an unnatural force. She screams, but the sound dies in her throat, swallowed by the heavy silence. The figure pulls her closer, its voice rasping in her ear. "You shouldn't have come here, Miriam." The words are a whisper, a hiss that sends a chill straight to her bones. She struggles, fighting against the grip, but the thing is too strong. It's not human. Can't be. Her mind spins as the shadows close in on her, the reflection, the distorted version of her. Mocking her, twisting, always one step behind. "You're part of it now, Miriam." The words echo in her mind, growing louder, surrounding her. They aren't just the watcher's words anymore. No, now they are hers, her own thoughts, her own fears, twisted by whatever this thing is. She feels as though she's losing herself, as if her identity is slipping through her fingers, like sand. The world around her starts to crack, the walls splintering as if they're made of paper. Her vision blurs, flickering like a dying light. She feels herself slipping, falling once more, but not into the darkness. This time it's a deep, suffocating void. And at the bottom of it, Miriam knows there is no way out. What happens to Miriam in the void? What is this entity and how does it tie into the darker forces at work? Will she succumb to the cycle, or can she break free from the haunting grip of the archive? The mystery deepens. Part 2 of this chilling story is on its way. Stay tuned to find out. The darkness around Miriam thickens, suffocating in its depth, pressing against her like an invisible weight. Her body feels heavy, like it's being pulled down by the very air itself. The last thing she remembers is falling, no, being dragged into the void. The silence is deafening. She cannot move, cannot scream, but somewhere in the distance, a faint sound calls to her. A voice, desperate and almost unrecognizable. "Miriam, help me. You have to help me." The voice is fragile, like it's fading, slipping away. And yet, it is familiar. She knows that voice. Her mind struggles to break through the fog of terror, to focus on that sound. But her limbs refuse to obey, heavy and uncooperative, as though they are trapped in a nightmare she cannot wake from. For a moment, Miriam wonders if this is the end, if she's lost her way completely. Then she remembers Claire, her friend, her ally Claire, whose life has been entwined with the mystery of the archive of the Watcher, the woman who has been by her side, guiding her through this terrifying maze of shifting realities. But what happened to Claire? What happened to all of them? The silence, once all-encompassing, is now interrupted by something else. A low hum, distant at first but growing louder. The faintest flicker of light begins to form at the edges of her vision, flickering like a broken film reel. Her head snaps to the side as she senses movement in the distance. She can't see clearly, but she knows. It's something, or someone. The hum intensifies, and the light flickers again, sharper now, coalescing into shapes. Faint outlines of what seem like figures. Miriam squints, her vision still distorted, but she can make out two forms, tall and looming, standing in the distance. A chill runs down her spine. No! She whispers to herself, her voice hoarse. Not again. The figures seem to move, their forms blurring in and out of focus, like something caught between two worlds. They are coming closer. No, it's not them. It's the Watcher. Miriam knows it now. She feels it in her very soul. His presence lingers, cold and unyielding, like a shadow that refuses to leave. Suddenly, the darkness splits apart. The room, the void, is gone, replaced by the unmistakable harsh light of a sterile, clinical space. The air smells faintly of chemicals, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Miriam blinks, disoriented, her head pounding, but she's no longer alone. A figure stands before her. It's Claire. But not Claire, not entirely. There's something wrong. The woman's eyes are wide, unblinking, her face expressionless, yet her posture, stiff, unnatural. Miriam's breath catches in her throat. Claire. Miriam's voice trembles, the name slipping out like a prayer. Claire doesn't answer. Instead, she steps back, her eyes darting to the side, as if something else has caught her attention. The other figure steps forward, his movements slow, deliberate. The Watcher, the man or whatever he is who has haunted them all. His face is still obscured, a blur in the periphery of her vision, but the presence, the weight of him is suffocating. You're too late, Miriam, he says, his voice low and cold, like the crawl of ice over skin. There is no escaping the cycle. You can never break free. Miriam's heart races as the words echo in her mind, their meaning sinking in. The Watcher isn't just some twisted observer. He is a part of something much larger, something connected to the very fabric of this nightmare. And now, Claire, her closest ally, is just another cog in his game. Claire, you have to fight it, Miriam shouts, though her voice cracks with desperation. You're not like this. You can fight him. Claire's lips twitch, a flicker of recognition in her eyes. But it's brief. The coldness returns, the blank stare replacing whatever warmth once existed. Claire's body jerks as if controlled by something beyond her. She opens her mouth, but instead of words, a guttural, inhuman sound escapes. She can't hear you anymore, the Watcher says, his voice a hiss of victory. She is part of the archive now, as you will be. Miriam takes a step back, her body instinctively recoiling from the dread that surges through the room. The Watcher's shadow looms larger, bending and twisting around him like it's alive. It's no longer just one figure. Miriam sees it now. There are more of them, appearing from the corners of her vision, stepping out of the dark. She feels the walls close in, the room shifting like it's alive, the space warping and contorting around her. She can't breathe. The air is thick with the weight of them, the entities that have been pulling the strings all along. Suddenly, Claire's voice, no longer just a whisper, rings out in the room, clear and full of emotion. Miriam, don't trust him. It's Claire, but it's not. Miriam knows the difference now. It's a reflection of Claire, distorted, broken. You're part of the archive now too, Miriam, Claire's voice continues, but this time it sounds hollow, like it's coming from deep within a cave. There's no way out. There never was. Miriam's knees go weak, but she forces herself to stay upright. The Watcher steps closer, his figure becoming clearer now. His face is a blur, an impossibility. But it doesn't matter. He is everywhere, in the shadows, in the cracks between reality. Miriam takes one final breath, her mind racing as the room shifts again. And then, blackness. To be continued. The line between reality and nightmare grows ever thinner. What is the archive, really? And can Miriam survive its grip, or will she become its next prisoner? The answers are closer than ever, but at what cost? Stay tuned for the next chapter of this chilling story. The truth is waiting to be uncovered.